Welcome to Two Dads and a Chaz podcast, the Green Bay Packer pod with the dad bod. So, if you got cheese in your veins, beer on your breath, and Packers in your heart, you have come to the right place. Now, let's introduce our kings in the north. We got Tyson the Bison. We got Kwon Doh. He takes it up the moon. And, of course, our favorite man, the porcelain prince himself, Aaron Mayhew. We would like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy days, nights, afternoons, and third brunches. Hey, Queen. To listen to this amazing podcast. Hopefully, you will listen and subscribe to
Two Dads and a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two Dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two Dads and a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football.
We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two Dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two Dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two Dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
I got some fucking stir fry here, dog.
Chaz, thank you as always for an incredible introduction. Welcome everybody. Tough loss that the Packer Nation took on Sunday, crashing down to earth as it will. And whether that's an offense where Matt LaFleur wants to play too fucking conservative and shit the bed, or a defense led by Joe Barry that just keeps stumbling over the same mistakes, we are here at 2D and a C to basically break this game down for you. So whether you only saw a bit, you don't give a shit, or you hip to it, we're about to give it to you straight. Now, Ty, my man, we're going to start with you. Give me your game day impressions, sir.
Ooh, game day impressions. This game kind of was the game I thought it would be. Close, little bit of a trap on the road, coming high off a beaten division rival. It's so hard to win 2 in a row on the road in the NFL. I thought we had a chance, but I definitely thought this one was going to be close, and sure enough, to my disappointment, it was. You know how I love a Green Bay Packer blowout, but this was never going to be that. So, as far as losses go, it wasn't the worst beat in the world, but it was hard to take. I think simply because it was so freaking close. Chaz, what are your impressions of the game?
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen, and thank you, Ty. For me, actually, I went into it with such a positive outlook, and the fact that everything just was good enough for me until the fourth quarter, I was actually not disappointed by this game at all. I think that it was kind of a weird fluke there at the end. I thought that was just some odd, weird freshman mistakes from our quarterback who went right up that guy's ass.
No, Chaz, that's well put. And I got to say, despite the slow death in the fourth quarter, I think the loss in general was more easily digestible than I've ever experienced. And being at the house that I was, the Moon House, you're well aware, you know what I mean? There was like a little bit of grace there with defeat. Frustration, yes, but not even on the scale of what it used to be in years past.
Yeah, that's basically what I just said. Yeah, sure.
Yep, took your words and made them better. Tyson, what was your take?
Yeah, I mean, like, hell, guys, how do you want to lose? Like, I don't know. I don't really want to lose, to tell you the truth, but I think that this is where and when a young team would want a loss in the season. I don't want us having some Dak Prescott meteoric soar with all this pressure mounting just to like have the first cracks be shown late in the season. Like I'm excited that there were some mistakes. It's been proven that our quarterback learns from his mistakes, and that this is the youngest team in the NFL. So we need to make those mistakes to become a stronger, better, longer contending football team and not a fluke. So I'm thankful that we lost this game in a lot of ways, and I really think that the the Falcons are a lot better team than people realize right now. And I think over the year we'll figure out that that's true. So that being said, there's a lot to break down in the tape. Great learning experience and a lot of positives, but there's negatives too, guys. Negatives too.
Absolutely, Tyson. And I think the blame game is an easy one to play. I'd like to take a focus on the coach because end of the day, this is the man who has to take the heat. I tell you what, Chaz, Matt LaFleur, he's had, I think we're like in year, what is it, 4, 5 now?
5.
What are your impressions of him? Like, is he the guy? Are you satisfied? Do you like the direction this team is going?
Well, with such a young team right now, and the trajectory we had, I mean, this is like a apocalyptic event. To have your quarterback leave and not have really ever seen our junior play yet is the only thing that I worry about as far as him being able to be coached by Matt LaFleur. I think he can because he wasn't in the same position as Aaron was as long. So I think he is at least able to coach our quarterback. And if he can do that, then I think we'll be successful. So that's it.
Well put. Well put. Ty, same question.
I love LaFleur's scheme on offense. I love what I'm seeing from motions. I love what I'm seeing from, the line. What you line up as is not what you snap the ball as. Classic Bill Belichick. It only got the Patriots 7 fucking Super Bowls. I really like what I'm seeing on offense. The swings, the willingness to put the running back out wide. He's being really creative without being too fancy or like overthinking it too much. It's what you want to see from a team that's lining up when the defense is confused every third snap. On offense, I love what LaFleur is doing. This has the potential to like run the league. On defense, however, I would love to take a hatchet to Joe Barry. If Joe Barry goes missing next week, it's because I went up to Green Bay in a white unmarked van and kidnapped Joe Barry. For the good of all Packer fans, that guy has got to get thrown off of death's door into the icy waters of Green Bay.
Damn.
No doubt about it. It's only week 2. I thought, is it too early to start trashing Joe Barry? No, it's never too early to start trashing Joe Barry. The time to trash Joe Barry is now. And so from the coaching standpoint, what LaFleur is doing on offense, A+. What Joe Barry's doing, he just better hope he doesn't get kidnapped this week.
Okay.
Hey.
Ty's gonna be banging Matt's wife at some point here. Tyson, what do you got for us?
Well, guys, listen, Matt LaFleur, I gotta say he kind of I wasn't a big fan. I know enough of watching the last few years to have an idea of who Matt LaFleur is, and I was starting to maybe not be a big fan, but he kind of changed my mind in this offseason. Seemed like he got the whole team kind of together. They're all working as the same team. They feel like a unit. Preseason, we look damn good. Week 1, looking awesome. The scheme's working. The defense is making plays. Nobody's getting cocky. We're not committing penalties. The other team is. It's like, hey, okay, we're disciplined. We're fast. We're strong. We're hungry. We're smart. I love it. And then we get to week 2, and the real test happens. The real rubber hits the road. I think there's some mounting anxieties that have returned immediately 1 week after a win that I can't help but say this is a thing that is going to build energy if we ignore it, or if he ignores it, because it's a thing, right? One is that I feel like we got cute and experimental way too fucking early in this game. Right off the bat, we're doing a fucking a flea flicker and some fucking crazy like what are we doing? Like that's a ballsy move, I guess. But I saw us like have an identity last week and set up plays that then we locked down later. In this game, I felt like we kind of went out and said, well, let's see what works. Let's give some stuff some try. Like felt like we were a little more experimental before we established control. And I think that really took away the offense's ability to be consistent later in the game when the clamps got pushed down and it was a clutch situation. The other thing is that when our defense started failing, he let Joe Barry do his thing. And I have to say, as much as you're going to trash Joe Barry today, and that is totally fair, and I'll jump in too, man. Dude played man, cover 2, drop 3. Like, we did it all. We just threw fucking everything at it. It wasn't like he was stubborn Joe Barry last year, just running the same exact defense while teams were carving up zone. He was letting our guys get beat. He was putting Jair in a position to get beat, and also our defensive ends and our outside linebackers were playing undisciplined and giving up the edge all over the place. So like there was enough leash given to let these players play uncontrolled, which in the end made our defense look like the defense we saw all year last year.
Hold on, buddy. So we're focused on LaFleur right now, and I just wanted to actually jump in. I thought the first play of the game, are you referencing like the 50-yard gain that would have been a touchdown had he not been tackled? All of a sudden, we're in the fucking outside of the red zone, and that's, for me, man, it's more that he has moments of brilliance only to basically shit the bed in like major moments. Seems to be the theme for Matt LaFleur for me. Now, if you want to talk about defense, I think he hired a coach that I think a lot of people find inept and want to move on from. And so I guess philosophically, he's made some strides. He can clearly grow quarterbacks because we've seen that with Jordan Love. I just question overall his ability to manage the entire team. That comes down to clock management.
Yes.
That comes down to certain other aspects. Is more like what I was leaning into.
Well, I got to disagree with you a little bit there, Mayhew. Like, he's put us in position to win NFC championships. It's not his fault that the quarterback decides to throw for it when he's clearly got to run for 2 yards and Aaron Rodgers fucking that game up. But I think a lot of what that choking aspect of LaFleur, I think it was when Aaron Rodgers took the control away from him and said, I'm going to be the hero here. It's going to be my play. I'm going to do my thing. And so I don't know that we have enough evidence of LaFleur in pressure situations with his team in full control to say that he chokes in the big situation.
Maybe choke is the wrong word, Ty. I think it's more once we establish like a sound lead and we're looking our best, he goes fucking conservative. That might be like the word where it's like, hey, we're up 24-12. We should start running the ball 3 times in a row.
If there's 8 minutes left in the game and we have the lead.
3 and out. It's like, dude, you are calling a great game. Put your fucking foot on their throat and let's end this thing. Like, what are you doing? That's
I
more
think
my
that
point.
word is the case of the yips.
Well, I think you're totally right, Mayhew, and it is unfortunate that he's not willing to put the throat on the neck and call that. Also, it took Jordan Love out of rhythm, man. He was playing great for a lot of that game, and then all of a sudden, the entire fourth quarter, the guy barely throws at all, and then you need him to win the game in the last second. It doesn't go well, and you can't give Jordan a pass on that. Obviously, you need a guy to be able to shine in those moments, but that they did not put Jordan in a good position, and I didn't like the way that he was reacting after the game. But it feels like LaFleur is just not a counterpuncher in general. Like, he has a game plan. He wants things to go a certain way. When they go that way, this guy looks like a fucking genius, and the other team can't catch their breath, and we look awesome. But when they come and do something to us, and what we went to go do as our plan doesn't work, he's not real quick to like punch back when our defense fails. And this was a game when you're down 5 fucking starters, you expect your defense to kind of, find a way to help get you a win. And I just didn't see our team having any fight. And we definitely looked silly with time of possession, clock management, all that stuff. It was like we just kind of like lost that whole part of the game, and it seemed like you just digging through the playbook trying to figure things out. And it's like, why aren't you ready to get punched in the face back? I would like to see a little more aggression out of LaFleur, especially when you have some fucking crazy cokehead like the coach that we were playing against, who's flipping out on the sidelines and free, like swearing, like I've never heard a coach swear into microphones.
Dude, I totally agree. That man has like the creepiest mustache, and I'm not sure like what like the tight short sleeves with like the. I'm like, you look like you should be bagging my groceries at Walmart, maybe. Like
I'd
it's
be
like
so mad about it too.
it's
Yeah,
an awkward look.
I did not recognize him with that mustache from last season. And also, while we're on the Falcons head coach appearance, if you're gonna cut the sleeves off your sweatshirt,
Right.
you better be rocking some guns. Because if you're rocking the ugliest orangutan hangers I've ever seen, you need to leave those sleeves on your sweatshirt.
And if you're gonna cut the sleeves off the sweatshirt, don't wear a t-shirt underneath it to cover said skinny guns.
Right? Ah,
You know that shirt had sleeves to begin with, right? You could just let it be.
You're right.
You
You could have just left them on. No, he wanted to show off his 9-foot arms of flabby, hairy back shoulder hair. He wanted to make sure that got on national TV.
He was tired of knocking the coke off the mirror with his sleeves. He couldn't do it without it. You know, he had to get it out. He was in a hurry.
all right. Let's get off coaches for a little bit and let's roll into the second quarter here. A little bit of a focus on the defense in particular. Now, Ty, overall, I personally I felt like we started okay. I feel like we have a really hard time against the run, which has been plaguing us for fucking what feels like generations. And by the end, we were just like completely gassed in general. But what was your take?
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag with that. I think that I mean, the running backs were always going to be the trouble with the Falcons. That's their strongest unit. The offensive line is built for run blocking, and they have 3 guys who are all different and dynamic. That was going to be the trouble. We did a good job of containing the quarterback. We got good pressure, however, over pursuit at times. Rashawn Gary, looking at you. And we have some major fucking weaknesses that we're going to have to solve. You can run a screen against the Green Bay Packers all day. If you swing it out to the running back, he's going to get 25 yards. This is something that we can't let the league know is our biggest weakness, is that over pursuit. And the over pursuing and the focus on pressure, they used it against us. They really did. It was Kwon Doh, and they were just, Slayton's going to come up the middle, let him.
Yeah,
we'll just take advantage of that. So from a defensive standpoint, there were a lot of solids.
Guys, I'm sure you got a lot to say. What's on your mind?
no, definitely, man. Like I feel like you're totally right when you say the Taekwondo thing. That's what when I rewatched the game. That's what I was like, man, Slayton is getting such push, man. Every time he's just throwing them around. And then when I rewatched, I'm like, oh shit, they were letting him in. He created a gaping hole and they ran right through it, like over and over and over. And they took turns who they were going to let that do. And the running back consistently, I'm like, what a brilliant running back. But then when I watched it, I'm like, no, they purposely pulled that guard. They purposely were giving that up as part of their run scheme. And they outcoached the shit out of us in that regard. Also, like, this is the Titans' old coach. This is the Titans' whole, and like we watched their playoff run a couple years back, they just like milked the clock from 8 minutes on. It's like, oh, we got you. It's a sleeper hold. Like we are gonna fucking choke you out. Oh man, we're down by 2 with 8 minutes left. We got them right where we want them, and like they did. And that's the crazy part. We need to be able to see that fucking coming and be able to escape that kind of fucking chokehold and not just keep falling into the same traps over and over again. Our defense, man, it was unfortunate because we looked good in certain areas, but then our best players were getting embarrassed, you know? And I'm like, how is this? What's going on? You know, like, how is this happening? And it really was. You said Taekwondo, like, that's perfect. That's exactly what was their offensive plan. They knew what we were going to do. They know what we're great at. They know what they can't stop us from doing. And they're like, all right, we just got to let them do it in a controlled fashion. And that way we can just run all over them. And on the paper, it looked like we got destroyed in that game. That's why it's amazing we lost by 2 points, because if you look at it on paper, it looked like we, like, time of possession, running game, all of it. It's just like, oh boy.
Well, and they used our best things against us. And then they targeted the things where we're weakest in. Darnell Savage, I don't know. Mayhew, Savage had like 40 tackles because he had to. Rudy Ford can't make a 5'1" Rudy Ford can't make a tackle to save his life unless it's out of bounds. I mean, it's so they took they took clear advantage of our tiny little safeties and our over pursuing linebackers. The only person on that whole defense who I thought was solid start to finish was Preston Smith. I thought he did his job.
Clay had a pretty good game too.
He was there. He was the guy making the tackles,
Yeah.
saving the first downs. Everybody else was doing their thing and getting robbed.
Well, this is a thing. Speaking, Ty, since you're already on the defense, this is something that we wanted to give a try this year, and that's a little something we call Barry's blunders. And since you were just talking about the defense, Ty, because I know how much you love Joe Barry, can you talk for a solid minute on what he did right or wrong? 5, 6, 7, 8, go.
Yeah, Tyson on the right, getting it right. He did. He switched it up. He played man. He played zone. I thought he blitzed on appropriate downs. He didn't do anything wacky when we got him backed up. You know, he just played. He played it straight. And I thought that on the pluses for Joe Barry, he seems to be more adaptable than last year. That said, nobody was fucking prepared for this game. The secondary looked like they'd just come off of holiday vacation, and they were just like, we'll just go out there and run around. The secondary was offbeat. The linebackers over pursuing, the defensive line getting fooled on every swing pass, on every sweep. The guy's out of position. I think it's he doesn't do the work during the week, and it shows on Sunday. And I just think that he needs to put in a lot more on those week. Treat practice like it's a game. And I don't think Joe Barry does. I think he lets them go out there and run around and do their thing. But I'm not seeing the results on the field. I think that it's, some of it comes down to we got a lot of youth on this team, right? We're going to have false starts on third. We're going to have, offsides on third down, like Carl Brooks jumping on what would have been a stuff. That stuff can't be placed on Joe Barry, but not having Jair Alexander's head in the game, that's part on Jair, but that's also part on Joe Barry. You got to be making sure that your leaders are ready to lead. And Joe Barry really just terrible job in that department.
I honestly would have liked to have seen more zone, which is crazy for me to say right now. But like the way that they were running, the way that they were running, he let us punch ourselves out. What they wanted to do is say, yeah, we're going to let these guys just fucking rope-a-doped us and had us run until we were exhausted. And then here comes the third and fourth quarter, and our pass rush doesn't have anything left. And that quarterback is in rhythm. And also we're at a loss as to how to stop this fucking generational running back who is unbelievable, by the way. Bijan Robinson is fucking one of the best. That's one of the best running backs I've ever seen. So like he is really amazing. So I also don't want to be like it's completely crazy that we lost this game, but the ways that we lost on defense, and I gotta say this about Darnell Savage, man. Everybody's shitting on this guy. I saw a dude that was a different monster than last year. He's aggressive. He wants to hit. He's like getting into plays. He blew a play, turned around, ran as far as he could back, and then made a shitty tackle after it was a big play. But that should have been a touchdown. Like, at least, you know what I mean? He's taking chances. Too many guys on defense were like, I got to win this game right now. We can't all fucking take a chance and make plays like that. And also, I felt like the defensive coach was like, I got to win this game right now. Very sporadic with our defensive strategies, with them not working too. So I would love if there's some, and it's funny because our defense is not a young team. It's really our offense that has the most youth on it. Our defense has quite a bit of veteran experienced leadership at important positions that should be able to like sniff stuff out, like middle linebacker and safety. So I would hope that we learned a valuable lesson and that LaFleur looks at how we got beat and how we got outcoached. And we can at least have a strategy for when that happens again. Because there's no way the league doesn't look at our collection of pass rushers that they can't stop and say, what do we do? Well, that worked for Atlanta. Let's just go with that. You know? So I don't know. I'm curious to see where
Mayhew,
Yeah,
what do you
I want to
think?
touch on a couple of points here. Let's start with Jair, which for me personally, I don't know if I've seen him play a poorer game in his entire Packer existence. I don't know what was off that particular day, but he had a final grade PFF of 55, missed 2 tackles, gave up 5 completions on 6 targets in coverage for 99 yards and a touchdown. Also dropped what would have been a pick 6. And then Drake London caught 4 or 5 targets for 54 yards and a TD against his coverage. Every big play of the game, I felt like he was somehow involved with in a negative fashion. Shifting over to Darnell Savage, Tyson, I agree. He has looked better this year than years past, 100%. But one play of the game for me was that like 45, 50 yard to Collins, I want to say, all the way down to the 10. Dude, he was streaking across, could have easily just like jumped up and swatted the ball away. And I don't even know what the fuck he was trying to do. He was trying to intercept it. Either way, he missed it drastically like a fucking idiot. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now, run defense wise, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I keep reading these articles going into the season where it's like we have a totally different approach. And Kenny Clark is talking about like, man, it's going to be more physical, the front 7, this. And we get against an opponent that we know is going to run it down our throat, and they fucking run it down our throat. So what? I don't know what to say. I want to blame Joe Barry forever, but I think his players let him down in a lot of fucking ways. Every one of them. Jair, Razul.
Yep.
The only guy, if you want to talk about having a big dick day, Chaz, Kenny Clark. Clark was the only guy that like stood out to me where I'm like, dude, you did your job. You were in the backfield. You were putting pressures. You were taking on double teams consistently all game long. But it's like, man, you can call the right play. You can put them in the right scheme, even though he didn't a lot of times, in my opinion. But if they don't execute, it doesn't matter. But I will tell you this, gentlemen. I don't care if it's 3rd down and fucking 75 yards. Do not play prevent defense ever. Line up like it's fucking 3rd and 5. Get after the quarterback and get the defense off the field because we are atrocious in that situation.
Yeah, I completely, I think we're all on the same page that a conservative Packers defense is a death sentence.
Absolutely.
A complete death sentence.
Just very briefly, I would like to throw this to the panel. What the fuck on returning the ball on special teams off kickoffs when it's 9 yards deep in the end zone? We saw Nixon bring it out like 3 times out of the end zone. It got to the point where when the kicker kicked it through the back of the end zone, I was like, thank God. Because now we won't start on the 15-yard line. I understand, like, you've got an opportunity to blow the whole game up with a big return. But when you're catching the ball 8, 9 yards deep, there's no reason that guy needs to be running it out of the end zone when you get free 25 yards. And we saw 3 times in the first half, once in the second half. And I'm like, will someone please show them the example of Ty Montgomery and how we sent his ass packing for that same stupid mistake. And we did it over and over and over again. I don't know what they're thinking on special teams, but that better just be a week 2 strategy and not a strategy going forward, because I can't stand when they return the ball from 8 yards deep.
I couldn't agree more, especially when you get back to like the 15, maybe the 17. It's, and when he does come out, I'm like, oh, he must have saw something. And I'm like, oh, he saw something. Like 10 motherfuckers about to tackle his ass inside the 20. It's like, God damn it. Why?
Yeah, it definitely that all 3 phases of the team let us down, I feel, and special teams is certainly one of them. I don't think that there's any rating within the special teams that says that they were even above average. So it was not a great day. Also, I would have liked to seen a couple opportunities for Anders there for a long one. I feel like we could have, this kid can kick from distance. I would have liked to have seen that in a couple situations where we didn't come away with points, and we probably could have. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick on that note, Tyson, because it happened in the first. That was the first possession, right? So we get within field goal distance. penalty brings us back to what would have been a 55 yarder, right?
Yeah, 56 yarder or something like that. It was like it's within the range of stuff that we've seen him hit before. This is not an outside game.
What do you think Matt was thinking there?
I don't know. I that was the beginning of me being like, I'm not sure where we're like. It didn't go as planned, is what he's thinking. I wasn't supposed to. This is. I think I can still get back on track with the game plan. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. But I don't know
Luckily,
why.
our punter has no issue kicking it into the fucking end zone every time. So it's
Yeah,
just,
that's fine. That's great. It's really close though. Really close to not being in the end zone. That's good. I think we should probably discuss a little bit of offense though, because there's a lot there, both negative but also really positive too. There's a lot to discuss, I think, when we're talking about offensive side of the ball in this game. And I think for some of us it gives us more hope. And I'm gonna start. I'd love to hear what Mayhew was thinking about watching Jordan Love operate against the Falcons here. What do you think about the offense?
oh God, J-Lo started off slow, kind of picked it up a little bit into the second quarter, where again I'm constantly impressed by just his overall calmness and what I think. And I say this with a little bit of hesitation, like his understanding of the offense, because there's certain times where I'm not sure if it's the receiver running the wrong route, him throwing the completely wrong route. But then we find ourselves in the third quarter where, gentlemen, I thought him and Matt LaFleur, it was like a fucking maestro. There was a couple of drives that were everything we wanted, pinpoint accuracy, hitting receivers on the hip, where I'm like, fuck, we are going to be great for generations to come. And then we roll into the fourth quarter, and we'll touch on that a little bit later, but it was wildly disappointing there. So for Jordan, I think he's just seeing everything for the first time. And I think that was what I loved about this game, is I couldn't imagine more complex or difficult situations you're going to face as a quarterback throughout your career, all happening like in one game. You know what I mean? Whether it's fourth quarter, hopefully you can put a drive to win the game. I don't really know. Whether it's a quarterback sneak, all these like things that he's never done in real time, where he got the experience. Was it pretty? Not always, but a really good growing game for Jordan, in my opinion.
Yeah, that run that he had, that
third down.
Yeah, that definitely raised my eyebrows. I'm like, whoa, he's like Kaepernick fast. He's like real fucking fast. When he turned on the jets and actually showed his speed, and I'm like, that's okay. So that's like a real weapon. Okay, good to know. I'm very curious to see, and I felt like at the end of the game, if you watch the press conference, and it looked like, first of all, what I love about Jordan Love is it seemed like it pissed him off that we lost. He was not super down at the end of the game to be like giving high fives and hugs to the other team. He was just like, want to get the fuck out of here. You could tell it bothered him. He's serious about his fucking business. He's serious about his job. He's serious about winning. And even when he was in the press conference, you could tell, talking about the errors that he made and the mistakes, it really fucking bugged him, and he wanted to, and you could see in his face that like he wishes he would have done more, and I worry about that. I don't want him already with one loss being like, next time I got to put the team on my back, because as much as like what I needed was and what he said was right, we just needed one completion, and that's what he needed to be thinking. And all three of those balls at the end of the game were like very low percentage, deep, difficult plays to fucking pull off. Like there was no high percentage throws that he threw to end that game. So I wish, I don't know. I like a lot of what I saw out of Jordan Love, but I can't believe that he didn't get a better chance to get into rhythm watching us give up points like that. How do you not let him play a high percentage? Like you said, 3 and out run, 3 and out run, 3 and out pass, then 3 and out run pass. It's like, what are we doing? Like, like why aren't you at least giving him some easy things that'll get his rhythm back and get our offense firing on the way it's supposed to?
Guys, what'd you think about J Love's performance?
I thought 1 was real good, made me feel good inside. 2 made me feel nice, also felt good inside. Then I got to take a break, and take a little poo. And then came the third quarter with just me and you. Then it started to go downhill, and that's where I don't want to talk about it no more.
Yeah, no, Love. Look, Love did his job. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 weeks in a row. I got confidence in him on third down. He picks up first downs on third downs. That's my favorite. I think that he's got a real head for it, and he is ready to be a playoff contending quarterback. Of the quarterbacks I see in the NFC North, Jordan Love is establishing himself as the best one. So, there's not a lot to really criticize on Jordan Love other than he's throwing to rookie receivers. Let's keep this in mind, guys.
Oh yeah.
Some of those connections didn't happen. And it's second year. That's his most veteran. Dobbs is his most veteran guy out there, and they're not going to have immediate, brain meld or whatever. And I don't think we need it. I just think that for Jordan Love having what he had for an arsenal, showed up, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2 weeks in a row. He's got a great third down conversion rate. He got let down by other factors, but I'm going to defend Jordan Love on this loss. I think he did what he needed to.
Tyson, what do you think about that? What do you think about that, Tyson? What do you think?
I think part of his job is to win the fucking game, guys. I'm sorry. I feel like
no timeouts in 52 seconds. No
Listen.
timeouts in 52 seconds. There's not a lot of quarterbacks in the league that'll pick that up and win it.
I think that might be. I think that might be exactly what the position is actually all about. is being in that exact situation and then winning the game. It's literally what every kid fantasizes about. Not like having a solid third quarter. That's not what I was doing in the backyard. I was winning the fucking game. Okay, that's what you're. So. No, I think that if that's where we're at with Jordan Love's development, is that he's at that point of like, all right, next level is like, you need to be able to close out and come back, win a game. Even if it's 1 point, you have to be able to ice veins, show us that you can do that. And so while we're calling him the guy, and he is definitely good enough to be our guy and our quarterback, and I am all for Jordan Love. It's good to know where the rubber hits the road, where we're at right now. Where we're at right now is we got a guy who can play within the system, make good decisions, can make plays with his legs, but is choosing to do the right thing and fall within the lines of what we're supposed to be doing. But still makes some aired throws here and there, makes some silly errors in clutch moments, and wasn't able. The moment was too big for him, guys. Let's get real, and that's okay because you're still learning. But that's good to know where we're at. Well, we're like, what is Jordan Love? Is he the next blah blah blah? Like, he's not that guy. But then, right now. But I don't want him to be that guy right now. I don't want Dak Prescott. I don't want a guy that's going to come in, look, maybe way too good, way too early. And then the world comes crashing down when the world gets real later in the season. This is the perfect time to make those mistakes. This is the perfect time of the year to learn. So I'm not upset, and I'm glad to know where we're at with Jordan Love. And I'm glad that the loss that it took to learn that only cost us 1 point, and against a team that nobody else has really realized as good as they're going to be. May, what you got? So,
and look, I think we've touched on it already. Let's look at the cast of characters surrounding this quarterback. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Wide receiver wise,
huge.
Jaden Reed, by the way, what a fucking game. Dontavian Wicks, I'm a huge fan.
Woo!
Christian Watson's riding the bench. Romeo Doubs is in there. We got all this like youth. We're like, yeah, we're going to go through some growing pains. I see fucking real potential in the future for this offense to be wildly explosive. But yeah, right now, man, you know how long it takes? Like the reason like Aaron Rodgers wanted Alan Lazard on the fucking team because he knows where that guy is going to be on every fucking play. He runs the route. He trusts him. He knows. Jordan has none of that. All these cats have played their first fucking games in the NFL. Hopefully they run the right route. Maybe they don't. And man, all those breakdowns, they'd show like the vision. It's like, as a quarterback, you got to throw the fucking ball before they're even there. You got to trust them. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but there was a lot of miscommunications there. And I think he has done a tremendous amount. He's made crazy amount of progress of what he's working with. At the same time, if I need to look at a play where I'm like want to slap him in the face, that would have to be what I think was a quarterback sneak attempt, though he came out to say
I think
he
he
basically called the wrong
thinks it was a
shot word in
quarterback
the huddle
sneak.
or whatever. He was the only guy running that play, you know? I'm like, dude, that's embarrassing in one of like the biggest moments of that game. And I'm like, okay.
It
Hopefully
was like a real just da 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 da.
just runs into his, you know. But I take it a step further too. An offensive lineman, we knew Bakhtiari was going to be in this game, and then as soon as Elton Jenkins left and Royce Newman walked in, I knew we were fucked. Can we please, Ty? I might need you to go up to Green Bay and just hit this guy in the leg with a fucking hammer. Take him down because Royce Newman should not be on this football field ever. And they
Not when
keep
you got
plugging him
Yash
in.
Nyman. Not when you got Yash Nyman sitting on the bench ready to go.
Dude,
Like-
I don't put T-Bone in there if I need to at fucking left guard. Like, what are we doing? This guy is underperformed every opportunity. There's got to be something better.
Yeah, but Tyson only plays on real turf, boys. You got to keep
Yes,
that
that's
time.
true.
Otherwise,
I
he
am
doesn't play,
sitting
you know what I
out.
mean?
I'm
Otherwise, he's not
protest.
playing shit.
Hereford bus.
Real grass or no ass.
Or
That's my
nothing.
rule.
Do keep in mind what Jordan Love accomplished without Aaron Jones, though. His number one running back, both out for the game. I think that, you know, to have accomplished what Jordan Love did with short staff, young staff, but also no Aaron Jones, was meant more AJ Dion.
You talk about
I mean,
AJ.
what do we think? What do we think, Mayhew? What does the PFF say about Dion?
About his thick ass.
Because the numbers don't care
Oh,
if you got the
man.
hindquarters of a horse.
Damn
They
straight.
just want to know, did you
Let's talk
get
about the
first
positives real
down?
quick because it's a short list. Let's talk about the positives because he was driving the pile a couple of different times, 2-3 times. He just took that whole fucking defense for a ride. He was like, guys, we're going 7 yards this direction. I don't care what you think. And it's cool to see him have the power and drive to pull that off because that's what you expect when you have a Clydesdale.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
Ty,
it.
to answer your question here, the man had 15 attempts for 55 yards, averaging 3.7. He somehow made the top 5 PFF, coming in at number 4. And all it says is Dylan created 39 yards after contact and caught his only target.
And did not fumble.
Now, gentlemen, I do think he's the kind of back that like needs repetition. I think trying to bring him in as a secondary guy is stupid. Tyson, I also saw them lining him up behind the quarterback a lot more this game to try to give him that momentum. But gentlemen, I've never seen a human being trip over his own fucking feet on 3rd and 1 more than this guy. Done. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, guys, I have to say,
It's funny because he did that.
no, but I feel like the anxiety is mounting, and that's what I see when I look at this guy's face. You look at some guy's face, and you're like, that guy wants to kill. You look at Quay's eyes, you're like, that's a murderer right there. That guy, you just look at his face, and you watch him when he plays, and he looks even scarier. I would look at AJ Dillon's face, and he looks like a guy who's like nervous to be on camera, and then you see him on the field, and he looks 10 times more nervous than that. Like, he doesn't look confident. He looks like he wants to jump out of his own skin. He looks like a new dad who's worried about his kid, who stayed up late trying to do the right thing and probably didn't have enough sleep, and now he's having a little panic attack on live television. Like, he just wasn't what his body looks like right up until his face. He looks like a fucking killer, and then you look at his face and you're like, ooh, that guy's worried, you know? And I feel like he feels the pressure that we're putting on him, that the world has put on him, that you're supposed to be this fucking thing. And he is not delivering. He is making silly, clumsy mistakes, not the hard stuff, like the I need to walk forwards and not fall down kind of stuff. Like this is like you're self-sabotaging, man. And it's because I don't know why. I don't know how to fix it. But I'll tell you who definitely doesn't know how to fix it. Fucking Matt LaFleur. You can ask fucking Amari Rodgers about that. He is no good at fixing a head case. He's going to make this 10 times worse. He's going to bring in the wrong motivational speaker. He is fucking up AJ Dillon's head.
Guys, and he is 4 years into the league here, and he's just not special. That's all it is. I'm like, what aspect of that man's game is
Guys,
like
his mom
exciting
listens
you?
to this.
You know?
Yes, she does. No, you're right though. I mean,
Sorry, man. Sorry.
we wanted him to be the Thunder, and we wanted him to like be able to smash guys and wear them out. And it looked like the opposite. It looked like the defense wore him down. It looked like the defense wore him out. And that's the opposite of what we're looking for. We're looking for him to punish the pile, move the ball, and it just looked like every time he got the ball, the defense was like, "Good, we're going to wear this running back down."
He looked as disappointed as everyone else was in him. Like he was disappointing everybody and himself. And I saw a dude that couldn't get out of it. He needed a buddy to like fucking slap him in the face.
Aaron Jones is out.
Well, doesn't he have a second friend on that team? You know, like come on, somebody fucking talk to this guy and pump him up because we need him. Someone spit in his face or something. Talk about Ty's fucking his mom. Well, way or another, I need him to get angry and play like an aggressive big dude.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is none of those guys had a big dick day. All right.
No.
Okay,
Aaron?
got it. All right. So then if they didn't, gentlemen, each one of you pick who was your biggest favoritist dick of the day?
That's a weird question, dude.
I have lots of favorite dicks on this team.
Yeah, but you only get to have one on the team. You only get to have one. Ty, favorite. BD.
Slayton. Slayton is really like the dude who's out. Slayton is like Quay's little brother who received Quay's advice, who took Quay's advice. And Quay is like, there's football and then there's a felony. And what you want to do is walk right up to felony, and still play football. And TJ Slayton this year is like, so I can't shank him, but I can gut punch him. And Quay is like, yes.
The Ray Lewis approach. Absolutely.
Comes from a long lineage of big dick day.
The Ray Lewis approach. I think Slayton had a big dick day. I think everybody's going to be afraid of Slayton by the end of this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd say all three fucking defensive linemen, honestly, were throwing dudes around. Regardless if they were letting him do it or not, it was impressive to see that much push from a 3-4 coming up the gut. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I've never seen it done this way. And you're starting to see why. All those boring McCarthy years where you just hold your gap. Just hold your gap there. Just hold it. And you're like, what does that guy even do? He just stands in this between there and there. Well, turns out there's a reason for that.
Mayhew, who had a big dick day, baby?
This is a quick riser on my board. I touched on it earlier, but Dontavian Wicks, which by the way is such a dope fucking receiver name.
Yeah,
What a
dude.
great name, dude.
Dude, they were talking already out of the gate. He was a little bit injured coming into like preseason, but more his jump off the line. They're saying like, hey, he's not Devontae Adams, but he's got a step that kind of separates himself. He's got the fucking speed. They went to him for that flea flicker right out of the gate, and the man scored his first NFL touchdown, which I thought was pretty impressive. Dude, he's explosive. He's physical. He's young, and man, sky's the limit. I'm a huge fan. He's got a big dick, that guy.
Woo!
Yeah, he's definitely a BC recruit with an A+ upside. And I think he's got the longest way to go out of any other receivers, but I think he's got the highest ceiling for sure.
For sure. He's definitely got longevity in his career.
Yeah, speaking of longevity, consistent dicks here, it would be Preston Smith, who's really for back-to-back weeks quietly been the stable veteran that like our team supposedly has none of. That guy has been a good leader for a team that is maybe not that's had mixed results. He is consistently doing the right thing and in the right spot. I like to see more of that from our other linebacking squad. I also like Quay. Quay did fucking great too. That guy is awesome. I mean, that 7-on-7 action for a while there, where that guy he just got pissed and tired of this dude. He's like, I don't even care. I'm just gonna go kill him now. And he just started hitting the shit out of that running back. And I'm just like, man, I did not want to play.
It was definitely one of those games for Quay where he's like, if I got to make every goddamn tackle, then so be it.
I'll kill this guy myself.
And gentlemen, that is our Pro Football Focus top-rated defender. This man stuffed the stat sheet, producing 11 solo tackles, 8 assisted tackles, 4 pressures, 1 quarterback hit, 4 stops, and 1 pass breakup on a near interception without missing a single tackle.
Yes.
The guy, dude, he's everything we were hoping for. You know what I mean? And I think he's kind of calmed whatever anger issues he had last
No, but
year.
that's
And I
how you
hope
play
not.
with emotion. That's how you play with fucking emotion,
He
gang.
honed it
You want
in.
to play, yeah. You want to figure out how to do it. Do equated. You just got to have a couple freak outs,
Beat up a few
and then you figure it
personnel.
out.
Whoop a trainer's ass
Yes.
on live TV. Get it out of your system. And then
It's
go
that-
walk the line
yeah.
between NFL and felony.
Yeah, that's right. You're right, Kai. He's doing it. I'm impressed.
Well, gentlemen, those were also pretty damn good ones. My personal big dick player of the day would have been my fucking beer brats. They fucking slayed. It took like 5 of them bitches to the face.
Oh, yeah. What do you guys make? Can we talk food real quick? Because I fucking destroyed smoked chicken wings. It was not the wings' fault because I couldn't have made better chicken wings than I did. They were fucking stellar.
I was at the in-laws. It was mother-in-law's birthday. We had chili and cornbread, which was a southern, but still not in the realm of birds. We might have let you down on the food department there.
Oh, we talked about this. Mayhew, what'd you get?
Yeah, Tyson, I was running a little bit late, so I went over to the local gas station, grabbed a couple of chicken sandwiches.
Bingo! It's that easy, guys. Don't tell me what you can't do.
And then I had explosive diarrhea at halftime. It was
It's not about you, goddammit. It's about the team for the last time.
Oh my god.
Doctor, don't tell me what I can't eat.
boys. Unfortunately, some of our we got some fallen heroes sitting on the bench here. I just want to run through the injury report, get everybody up to date here. Christian Watson still out through week 2.
Questionable.
With a hammy. He's good
Play
questionable.
something somber, Chaz.
Aaron Jones also got a hemi, questionable. David Bakhtiari, he just kind of plays when he wants to. I honestly think he was like protesting the turf, and he's like, I'm just not going to do it. Fuck you guys. Like, all right. Elton Jenkins, sprained MCL, questionable. Return date yet to be determined. And then Eric Stokes, this guy still exists, believe it or not. They put him on the PUP list, so he's out the first 4 for sure. Maybe we'll see him back at a certain point. And then, of course, the schnoz, Tyler Davis, who gives a shit. He's on injured reserve. But,
Yes.
oh, Lucas Van Ness, that's the other one. Dude,
Oh, yeah.
I need to get that guy back out on the field. I want
Hurt
him
his
taking
elbow.
snaps away from, I want him and Gary at all times. Elbow injury, we have very little details there as well.
Van Ness needs to Nick Perry up and just throw like a
Yeah.
club on the end of that thing.
Yeah, you
Van
need to
Ness
do
doesn't need a whole arm. He just needs a club. Let's get Van Ness a Nick Perry club. Send him out there next week. He'll be fine.
Or Gronkowski robot elbow. Like, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that look. That's a cool thing.
I will say, all those guys were questionable. We have nobody that's other than Eric Stokes, who like apparently doesn't like to play football when he just doesn't feel well, which is every season that he's ever been a Packer. Other than Eric Stokes, who has a slight head cold and then ends up on the IR. All those other guys are questionable.
He should be back by week 5 for about 45 minutes. And then he's
right.
going to be back on IR.
Yeah. And then he stubs his toe running up the stairs of Jair's house, and again, now he can't play for 5 weeks. So thanks, Stokes, for nothing. But I think the rest of those
Eat those words
either be
later.
overcome with a sweet piece of equipment, or it's only week 3, guys. We don't need to be top gear. We do need Aaron Jones to come back. I don't know if LaFleur was just like, it's early in the season, it's a slight hemi pull, but that dude needs to be there to counter, because we can't rely on AJ Dillon and 2 super high potential running backs. We'll get into them later on in the season, but they're not there yet. They're C's and C pluses right now, and somebody's got to be there to counter so that we can have some pressure off of Jordan Love.
I'd like to see us move around a little more if we are going to be dealing with an extended outage at RB1.
But we've been in worse shape with injuries early
Oh,
on.
yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
we're really not in a terrible spot when it comes to that injury report. I think that guys are either coming back this week or they're coming back next week. And I don't think we have anything major to worry about other than Eric Stokes clipped his fingernails too short and now he can't play next week.
It hurts. It hurts when they touch the ball.
Still one of our own. Jesus Christ.
Is he one of our own? Because I think I've seen him play like 6 football games in the last 3 seasons.
Ty, the guy tore his fucking ACL. Like, you want him back in like 6 months? Come on.
We are definitely on record as being really sensitive about people's ACL tears. So we're definitely gonna be the show for empathy in that department.
All right, boys. It's been a pretty good conversation here. No, I'm going to cut you all the fuck off right now. Let's put this one in the bag here. Atlanta Falcons, week 2, tough loss, but final thoughts. Anything else we want to get out of our system before we move on?
One last thing we didn't touch on: no turnovers.
Yeah,
for any team, either side, either way.
That's an important aspect. Tyson, what you got?
I would like to see our I hope that we learned that there's a real chance that if we can't run the ball in the same way in fashion in the future, we might need to turn Jordan Love into a running back just to create some run plays on our and keep that defense honest so we can actually go back to throwing the ball again. At times, if we're just shitting the bed on 3 and outs, I would like to at least figure out a way to create some offense. And I don't want to. We might have to create quarterback runs just so we can do that if our running game continues that way. But hopefully not.
For me, there was one individual player that kept pissing me the fuck off, and that was Jonnu Smith, tight end for Atlanta Falcons. This motherfucker, every big play they needed, just kept coming up with a huge. This guy only caught, I'm looking at here, four catches for 47 yards, average of almost 12. But they were like the back-breaking plays where I'm like, who the fuck? Kyle Pitts? Look, that's a whole nother subject. I've never seen a more incredible athlete of our generation underutilized in my entire life, but that's not our team. Who gives a fuck? But new segment. This is a personal segment. It's called 3 Things I Know. Desmond Ridder, quarterback of Atlanta Falcons. He takes off his helmet. This motherfucker is balding like he's 60 years old. He's only 22. I'm like, dude, what's going on with your hair? Number 2,
he looks like a bank manager for sure.
Wear tighty whities. We all know that. Like on the sideline for sure. And number 3, this motherfucker drives a Saturn of some sort. Like no. And we do what we do under this leadership and just make mediocre quarterbacks look way better than they should be. That's my final thoughts. Chaz, passing it to you.
Our defenders catch those 2 almost pick sixes. The game ends in our favor.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's true.
Word up.
Good point. Is that close?
Yeah.
Is that fucking close, man? And
you let Anders get off his sailboat and fucking boot one in the first fucking drive. We win that game by 2.
That's right, baby. That is right. Well, gentlemen, that's going to take us to halftime. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll see you in just a minute.
This episode is brought to you by the letter D and the number 8. That's right, folks. We're talking Delta 8 gummies. Is it Saturday afternoon and your guy is still not calling you back? Is your state still in the dark ages of dispensaries? Then head down to the former Christian bookstore and get sold some fake pot by a guy clearly high on real pot. Yeah. Delta 8 gummies. Are they addictive? Probably. Do they taste like shit? Absolutely. Will they give you a hangover? Oddly, yes. But will they get you high? No more than cleaning a small bathroom with a strong bleach solution. But don't panic. You will connect eventually. Until then, pretend with an overpriced jar of not kid-safe candy. Now in 3 flavors. Hemp with a hint of watermelon, greenhouse flavor with strawberry aftertaste, and least popular, what the fuck? Yuck! Delta 8 gummies. They won't get you high, but they will keep you from jumping off a fucking overpass. So that's something.
Welcome back to 2 Dads and a Chaz pod. Just fucking delicious. right now, we're going to move on to next week. And as far as next week goes, I got to ask, boys, who the fuck are the New Orleans Saints?
Great
I'm
question.
loaded. I'm ready. I am thrilled we're facing a Saints team that doesn't have Sean Payton as the head coach.
Bingo.
Packer fans
Damn.
know this very well. That
Damn.
guy was the most lethal part of the Saints team for a decade and a half. Like, the only thing that scared me about the Saints, quite frankly, was Sean Payton. So the fact that he's not the head coach anymore, I'm thrilled. We've got Dennis Allen. Don't remember that name. Who cares? He's the current head coach. He was formerly the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And that makes sense only in that they have their starting quarterback is Derek Carr. So there's a relationship there. Other than that, this guy does not scare me. Maybe it's because I'm so used to Sean Payton and just being like terrified as to like Sean Payton would throw playoff plays out there on week 3. We're not going to get that this week. We're going to get regular ass guy trying to figure out what he's got. And he doesn't know what he has because half the players can't play. Alvin Kamara suspended for this game. This is the third and final game of his 3-game suspension for beating up a civilian at a Las Vegas nightclub. Like, if you're going to fight somebody, Alvin Kamara, that better be Conor McGregor. Otherwise, you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got no Kamara to worry about. Jamal Williams, Packer fans will recognize that name. We were high on that guy until he turned lion on us. He's questionable with whatever he's got going on. Their biggest assets are sitting on the sidelines this game. Guys, we got a lot to look forward to on this one. It's the home opener, right? We've done 2 road games to start the season, and here we are coming into Lambeau. This will be the first time on our turf. We're going to want to make a statement. The Saints don't know who they are, or they're suspended. I think that this thing is a lock. I have very rarely say the Packers are just going to show up and just house them. But unless Derek Carr gets hurt and famous Jameis comes out and pulls some magic, we're going to be just fine in this one. They've got really nothing to look forward to. They're heavy in the middle on the defense, but everybody else is a bunch of fucking nobodies. So fuck the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints definitely have like a collection of turd farmers at the fucking quarterback position. You got Taysom Hill. You got fucking, you got a guy,
Jameis Winston, a guy
fucking
famous
in
Jameis
the ultimate.
Winston,
Yeah.
famous for stealing crab legs from the buffet. Can't pay for his own fucking seafood. Or Derek Carr, the most mascaraed quarterback in the NFL.
No, that guy wears more makeup than fucking Marilyn Monroe.
RuPaul doesn't wear that much makeup. Are you kidding?
No, it's
Publicist
just
is failing him on that one, dog.
shadowing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's just like a bunch of insane guys. You know what I mean? Those are 3 crazy dudes. And I don't know. I feel like this is all just like Gruden's fucking henchmen that are like, no, we can run a team just like Gruden told us. But like, they're not actually good. So like, I don't know. I have a hard time. Here's what I know. They're going to want to play a balanced offense attack against us. They're going to want to run the ball, but they're going to want to throw. And that is great news because we can't stop the fucking run. And we need you to throw for us to actually like be our defense that is actually very good. So I'm excited to go up against this team. I'm hoping they didn't watch any tape about what happened last week to us. And they're just like, yep, we're sticking with what we're doing, just like Gruden said. We're going to do just like Gruden say. We're going to go out here just like Gruden would have. And we're going to run a 1998 West Coast offense like Gruden would. I'm going to call Gruden and see what he thinks about that. That's going to happen.
The stuff that gets you fired from the Packers is the same stuff that gets you hired for the Saints. Guyon shoots one pistol out of a convertible in Hawaii. He's done. That gets you
like,
hired
hey,
on the Saints. They're like, hey, this guy knows how to party. He rents convertibles and just firing off
Believe the
pistols
Second
in the
Amendment. You
neighborhood.
know?
Yeah, that's what we want on our team. That's the guy we want. He's
Yeah,
not good at any football, but how good is his coke? Like, that's what the Saints are at right now. They're a trash
Sometimes you've been
team full of
implicated
fucking
in
drug
assault.
smuggling son of a bitches.
Dude, this pod is
Big
wildly
accusation.
out of control. I'm just trashing the team we're about to play each week. I disagree. I'm looking. Look, their defense is number 9 in the league, so top 10, taking care of business. Their offense, despite the mascara, like they have Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. They have a plethora of wide receivers to throw to. If Alvin Kamara could stop fucking punching people in the face and getting thrown in jail, he will not be here on Sunday. But I think we need to respect this team a lot more than I'm hearing right now. But Ty, you're absolutely correct. The fact that they are coming to our house and we're not going down to the fucking Superdome, God, that place is a tough environment. We take them seriously. I feel like we can beat this team. But man, I need a bounce back week of just like not. We need to live up to expectations.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, and here's why. Week 1, the Saints beat the Titans by 1 point. Week 2, the Saints beat the Panthers, who got housed by the Falcons by a field goal. I mean, they're the NFC South leaders right now by a squeaker, and so they're not going to come bring the heat. They're going to come in. They're down all their leadership if they had any at all, and they're going to show up and just be unprepared for a Packers team that looks like they want to win the fucking Super Bowl this year. So
That's right. This is your baby.
I was worried about the Falcons, and I was honest about it, and I was legit about the Falcons being a trap in week 2. The Saints are not the Falcons. The Saints are the Detroit Lions of the NFC South. They're going to win their first. They're going to go 8-2 and then blow it. Like they're not going to even win 8 games. I'm sorry.
Ew.
I'll be honest. I'm more concerned about Taysom Hill than I am of Derek Carr. Like I feel like Taysom Hill could give us a run for our money and like feed us our fucking lunchbox, and we'll be like, "What just happened here?" Taysom Hill ran for like 85 yards and 3 touchdowns, and and we didn't know what to do.
Tyson, he was the lead rusher last week, 9 carries for 75 yards, and then
9 carries.
Yep,
To the quarterback.
9 times.
9 times. But he also caught one pass for -1, so it kind of
But how many punts did he return?
9 times.
All of them?
He made 18
9
sandwiches.
times. Speaking of, guys, check it out. I got fresh figs now, dog. Ooh.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Can't fear Derek Carr, guys. I don't know how to do it. I just feel like he's such a fucking bitch. Like you just see him and you're like, God, Devontae, you left us for that?
No.
You want to be on that guy? I just don't get it. I don't see it. Everything he says seems phony. Jameis Winston, too. If you ever saw the Hard Knocks with the Bucks and him, he's an insane person. He just like drives around listening to motivational speeches like all the time. He wakes up, listens to the speech, works out, listens to it, makes sure everybody hears him listening to it, and then he does like a half-ass version of it in the huddle, and you're like, oh boy. I don't know. I also I don't know if you heard their kicker didn't get let into the Panther game because they thought he was a fan because he weighs like 150 pounds.
Right.
And they wouldn't let him in. He's like, no, seriously, guys, I'm the kicker. They're like, yeah, sure you are. And like have the fucking people tell me, no, he's on the team. We just don't let him travel with us because he's a little bitch. But we let him follow in the minivan with Carol.
There's also a little bit of magic that goes into some Packer games. I think we can all, even Maggie at this point, can agree that there's a little bit of magic. A little bit of magic that goes into it. Yeah, there you go. See, just a little bit, he says. And speaking of that, we want to talk about tapping into the main vein, baby. And when it comes to draining the main vein that we got to tap, we got to send it over to Tyson. Buddy, what is
weird
the magical defense witchery that we need to defeat this team this week? Is it going to be heavy cheddars? It's going to be light cheddars. Are we talking Pepto? No Pepto, dog. We talking Red Bull? We talking fucking Jaeger bombs? What are we talking, dog? Because I'm
Yeah,
here. Look,
educate us.
I've been working
Tyson.
for you.
Educate us.
Listen,
working for
guys.
you.
All right, so we're going up against the Saints, right? This seems pretty obvious. This is the first home game of the year. It's still warm outside. It hasn't gotten old yet, guys. This is a classic Brats game. You got to get in there. This is an easy ask, Packer Nation, but do them right, okay? Indirect heat. I don't need you fucking scorching these things and wrecking them. You know what I mean?
A little bit of color.
No, maybe you don't need and then you do it the moon way. You put them in the beer at the end. You don't boil them ahead of time. You know, I'm just telling you. You get your coals in the middle. You go around the outside. Get some wood in there. Smoke them. Smoke your brats. And I'll tell you what, you get a nice little crisp on the outside there. I don't think that they'll know what to do when we've all eaten brats. You know, that's a whole lot of home energy. This is our first home game of the year. This is our fucking house. You know, what are we serving? We're serving brats.
How long are them sausages, Charlie?
I don't know that reference. What's that from?
That's 5 minutes, Takish. Tyson, there's not enough cheese discussion coming out of this segment, I feel like.
Well, that's a defensive thing. That's different. Now, we're talking about what you're going to serve. Now, we're talking about cheesing up on D. Listen, there are different ways to look at this. The main thing is that you are a portal, right, to
Obviously.
the Packers' collective energy. Follow me. So for you to actively penetrate the non-believers that are in the way, you know, you need to have everybody in your vicinity and viewing area on board, focused, and into the concept of cheesing up on D. You can't have a non-believer in there. They're going to muddle up the whole thing. Okay. You're better off maybe not even doing it. If you got a bunch of non-believers in there, you might want to just take your phone, go to the bathroom with some cheese, and get it going. Okay. So,
done it.
What you got to do, and if you haven't heard this somehow, if you still don't know about cheesing up on D, fucking, where have you been?
It's essential.
Get your notepad.
Get
your fucking notepad and listen. All right. When the defense is on the field, once they hike the ball and the ball's in the plays in motion, you need to actively be chewing cheese at that moment. Okay,
you gotta be chewing it down, dog.
Yeah, you want to do it if you can jump the snap count. That's cool. That's good. You know, you can get ahead, but you can't just eat cheese passively.
No, you can't infringe on the neutral zone. No,
you're wasting it. So you get everybody cheesing up on D in that moment during the play. Amazing things happen. This is how games are won and lost sometimes. You wonder how did that guy throw it there? It was clearly there was like nobody there, and he threw it right to our defender. Well, we clearly cheesed up on D, and it clogs up the lanes, it clogs up the line, clogs up the heart, you know. And what it does is it stops them from being able to make good decisions. So you got to help our defense sometimes. They need it. But you can't waste it. Also, you can't cheese up on D every single time. Sometimes you can. So all I'm saying is have the cheese, but save it. Don't just eat it. You just have some friend over that's just like, oh boy, cheese. Oh, I just love cheese. It's like, dude,
here's the thing.
You gotta either have enough to absorb that, and then also you need to educate that friend so that by the end of the game, they're on board with cheese up on D. Or you made a huge mistake inviting that person into your fucking Packers portal because you have a job to poke the main vein. You can't get in there with a non-believer.
Yep. Also, Chaz asked a pointed question of which cheeses do you use? The first 3 quarters of the game, cube whatever you got in the drawer. The Munster, the Colby, that's fine.
The mozzarella.
Fourth quarter, that's when you bust out the 5th-year Hook sharp cheddar. Right?
Bam.
You want to save that good cheese for when you need the most magic.
You want that.
See, I feel like the closer you are to the stadium when you bought the cheese, the more magical the cheese is. So what you want is the cheese from that gas station on the in Rosendale. You know which one I'm talking about.
I don't go through Rosendale just because I don't.
No, I know, but it always ends up happening. and then you get the cheese there, or you get it there, or you go to like you're in Monroe and you're like, this is the most Wisconsin fucking Swiss cheese I can buy. I'm buying
Load
this
up.
cheese. But yeah, you just get enough though. You don't want to just, go crazy. You load up, but like, at a point here, yeah, you got to eat all that cheese,
All I know is week 1, I was dipping cheese into queso. What? And we won.
With that, my friends, we are going to run into the fourth quarter with a little segment we like to call Chaps My Ass.
Man, I don't know what chaps my ass. Tyson, what chaps your ass?
Oh man, I feel like I'm always the one that's upset about everything. Mayhew,
Yeah.
you got to go first so I don't sound crazy.
No, you never sound crazy. I gotta admit, it's another gas station situation for me. So look,
Nice.
I pull in there. I'm just trying to get a soft drink and then get out, right? And the woman in front of me has a grocery cart of like 37 items at the fucking gas station. I'm like, why? Go to the grocery store. You will save like $90, probably more. But no, she's scanning. And these days too, they put like one item in one plastic bag. I'm like, this is like 600 plastic bags. I need to get out the fucking door. I'm trying to get to the game. And I'm just like, oh my God. And she's a sweet lady. But it fucking chaps my ass, Chaz. And it's not the first time. Oh, Ty, and you better believe she's paying in cash, and she's got a tremendously large pouch of change, and she's gonna go right down to the fucking penny, my man.
Yeah.
Right down to the penny.
You gotta get rid of it. I got a problem here at the grocery store. Okay. You get some fucking backer in her, okay? And he's backing up.
Again.
No.
Here we go.
The fuck's going on with this guy? If you are parked, okay, and someone is backing out and you're like, hang on, I'm going past. You're like, oh, I'm stopped. This guy is back and going past. And then you start to back up. And then this guy's like, whoa, I'm trying to do this crazy back-end maneuver. You know
Spoken
what I mean?
like a
This
guy who's never driven a half-ton 150 to a grocery store.
Bam.
Bam.
All set. He
Or
looked just
a
like,
fucking
you know what?
2001 Ford Ranger.
He looked
Yeah,
exactly like the
buddy.
Atlanta Falcons coach, actually, now that I think about it. I think that was him in that truck. He's a backer-upper just starting fights with fucking people in the parking lot because he ran no turn signal. No indication of what this guy's up to. Just slow rolling behind you. And now he's backing up. He's backing up. My reverse lights were on. It was clear my intention.
Leaves off as he backs up too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Give that Falcons coach a little bit of a break. He just lost $300 in a pool hall.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I did have one here for you, Ty. This one felt kind of special, but one of the commentators was talking about how before the last game, Quay Walker was sitting under the goalposts pregame in what has become his meditation ritual. This guy took everything we said to heart, clearly like a very big pod listener, and he's found a way to control his emotions and then come into the game with his fucking hair on fire. And I thought that was pretty cool, actually. I've never heard anybody doing that.
Right. Went and
I
saw
like
Dr. Hibblefarb.
Pre-game,
like
whatever keeps you from beating up the help. Like,
I said, do not disturb.
yeah.
The fuck's your problem?
I went to
Why?
my
Get in
little
here.
place,
Let
like
me
the
deal with
judge
this.
told me to, and I'm fucking sorting it out. All right, I love it.
Well,
He's
bitch.
finally taken his probation officer's fucking advice, and he's taking a moment to himself. I think that's also a cool ritual. I hope Quay continues it because, man, the Packers are going to need this guy to be the leader. Jair's not going to do it. Whatever Jair did with Eric Stokes failed. Like, Clay is the guy wearing the green dot. Clay's the guy getting end to end. And if he needs to take a moment to himself to remind himself to not grab any people that aren't wearing a helmet by the throat, then that's great. If that's what Quay needs to do, that's fine.
Yeah, Ty, that's what we call growth, my man. Now, does anybody else have anything left in the glass? Any final thoughts they wanted to touch on?
I just want to beg and plead that all you guys stay patient with this team, because this is a team that is growing and developing, and you need to take your lumps and learn from them. Now, if they're failing consistently, if we're getting worse, if this team starts showing that it's deteriorating, we'll let you know. But I feel like right now this is a don't panic loss, and I don't want to hear anybody getting out of sorts, because we should be a team that's expected to win less than 500% of the games based on where we're at and our age of our team. And I think we're going to over excel that by a lot. So just chill out and watch some football.
Yeah.
Well,
Tyson,
then-
thank you for that reminder. I got to say one thing.
Yeah,
real
go for
quick
it, buddy. Go.
here, Is you sit in a fucking room of Packer fans, Jordan Love does something, and they're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers would have done this. Like, shut your fucking mouth. You're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback that played for 2 decades. You're looking at a kid that get his first NFL starts. Yeah, don't compare the two. Sit back, enjoy the ride, and understand that it might be a little bit bumpy at first here.
Yep. Good reminders, guys. Good reminders.
So with those thoughts, gentlemen, let me ask score predictions. I want to start with Mr. Tyson Foshi. Score prediction.
I think this game is going to be a get-right game for the Green Bay Packers. I think we're going to get back to balance and balanced attack, and I think we're going to get back to some defensive turnovers and big plays. I think that we're going to handle the Saints 27-21.
So they're going to beat us 27.
No, we're going to
I'm
win.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're going to beat them.
27-21. All right. Mayhew, score prediction?
I think again that we're going to put some points up on the board. I still think that their defense is a lot stronger than this show is giving them credit for, but I like being at home. I'm going to say 24-13, Chaz.
24-13 Packers. All right.
I think it's
Kwon
the
Doh?
first time of the season that we see some garbage time. I think we'll see some Sean Clifford in this one. I think the Packers are going to handle them 35-13, and that last touchdown they score will be the who gives a shit touchdown. This thing is all Packers all day. Fuck the Saints.
Nice. As usual, y'all know me. It's going to be 92-2. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Two Dads and a Chaz here. Make sure you watch the game this week. Make sure you cheese up on D. Make sure you give our boys a little bit of room for growth out there, because we don't do that on our podcast. But we always like to end with a nice hashtag. So, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1.
Suck it in.
I can't read.
Two dads and a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football.
We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up your air condition, cause it's bound to get hot.
Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.